Welcome back to Billins World. He is not a podcaster. This is not a podcast. Today, we will be paying respect to the one and only
DMX, and God bless his soul. This episode, tribute to the late great DMX, Mr. Earl Simmons himself. Man, iconic, man, and timeless. It's like a lot of his music still sounds brand new to this day.
It could actually be played to today.
To this day, yes.
Yeah, a lot of shit could be played to this day.
You know, God, I'm gonna forever play his music. From the drop of "Get at Me, Dog," and in my household back then, the record being on repeat, man, what a smash hit for that to set off '98. Which was a dope ass year in hip hop. Definitely a year of DMX, as well. Two platinum albums, multi-platinum albums dropping that year. But but my introduction to X though was the 4321 record.
Really?
Yes, because that came out prior to him dropping his first album. He still was like, I was like, who's this new guy? I was already souped because shout out everybody.
That's crazy.
On that track.
I actually didn't hear that song until after his album, but that's dope.
Me personally, if you know, you know.
That's a hell of an introduction to him though, because X's verse on that shit was serious.
Yes, he had other stuff out before. I would find out down the road, but my introduction to him was on 4321, and shout out to LL Cool J for he did that multiple times, putting other rappers on his songs and giving them that light.
Yeah, I mean, really, because he had Cannabis and because Meth and Red were pretty much cemented already in the game. They had already had a couple of albums out and etc. But Cannabis and X were pretty much new, right, at that time.
Yes, to the game, part of Def Jam, and it's safe to say, man, DMX saved Def Jam.
Yeah, that's no doubt about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Rockefeller and Rough Riders, really. Yeah.
Yeah, what a way to end in that century as well, and even to take it into the new millennium. Definitely. Great actor as well, DMX. Remember also '98, the film Belly dropped. And that was really off the strength of DMX. Let's be real. No disrespect to any other involved. Nas, Nas the GOAT. But still, X man. Nobody else could do Tommy Buns. That was the character name in the movie.
Tommy Buns.
Tommy Buns, yeah. DMX murdered that role. Also, check out his film Never Die Alone. I believe that came out in the early 2000s. That was pretty dope. I feel it's an underrated flick right there. I had caught that one time.
That the one with Seagal?
No. I don't.
What's the name with they ain't have one with Seagal though?
Yes, Exit Wounds.
Exit Wound.
Yes.
He did one with Jet Li too, right? Romeo Almost Died, I think.
Yes, he wasn't really in that movie for too long. I remember as a kid.
But he was in it though, right? He was on the soundtrack though, right?
Yes.
Back in One Piece, I think.
Yes, with Aaliyah. That was a dope track. Man, that's still my shit. R.I.P. to Aaliyah as well. Yeah, X was in that film for a bit. That Romeo Must Die, and that soundtrack whole was dope. I mean, what a time that was when soundtracks were that thing, man. To have like a nice catalog, nice little melting pot of talent. But back to the legend, man.
The myth.
He was even a legend, and while he was here, and he ain't going nowhere. He's still gonna be with us spiritually.
There's no coincidence that DMX had the best moves in Def Jam Vendetta. Woo! X was fire.
Yeah, that was that game right there.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe to the channel, man.
Please, yo, man, what's up, man? We see y'all viewing, but what's up, man? Help a brother out.
Show some love.
DMX's first album was his first commercial album. It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
It's Dark and Hell is Hot, released May 1998. All the singles are smashes, man. Stop Being Greedy. I mentioned earlier, "Get at Me, Dog." Just that single alone, he was like, "Oh, this is a problem here."
I'm gonna go out on
You
a
know,
ledge and say that X probably could have dropped any song on that album as a single.
wow.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of good shit on that
probably right. You
album.
probably right, fam.
Think
Yeah.
about it. If he would have dropped "I Can Feel It," that would have been dope. If he for my dogs, that would have been dope. It was a lot of shit on that album that X had that is more than just stop, drop, open up shop, and all the rest of that shit. You know
Yes,
what I
Rough
mean?
Riders
Like,
anthem, very impactful
I
record
know a
right
lot of
there.
people. That's a key record for a lot of people. But if you're a real X fan, you know for sure that there are many beautiful X songs on his albums that'll get you through the day. Really,
Absolutely, and he never really had a rap about selling drugs or nothing, and still, man, a superb catalog, man. And fun fact, excuse me, sophomore album "Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood" was the first cassette tape I bought on my own. Caught the city subway to downtown Newark. If you know, you know. I don't remember the name of the store to be exact. I just went down there with just one focus,
I know
one
which one you're
focus
talking
only.
about, but I don't know which what the store's name was. Was it by the furniture place that used to be downtown, or was it a little deeper
Well, I know
on Halsey?
it was definitely on Broad, I believe. It was
Okay.
on Broad. I walked up to the counter and told the lady, "Oh, DMX second album, please." And the rest is history. I still probably have it somewhere around. Got the CD as well, and of course on the phone, man. Why not? Like DMX is that artist, man. To me, that is gonna always be, in my rotation, and
I mean, X was the first album I purchased as well. It's Dark and Hell is Hot at Music Village.
shout out
Yeah,
Music Village.
Music
If you know,
Village
if
was
you know, you know.
when Music Village was open. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we ain't 50 years old or nothing like that, but when we grew up, shit was a little different from now. You know what I'm saying? At least not too different, but it was a little different. You feel me? When you could buy CDs and shit, but when people cared to, because niggas didn't have
Before the streams.
iPods until we got a little older. You know what I'm saying?
And salute DMX streams are up, doing crazy numbers right now. Respect, you know, rest in heaven to the legend, man.
Get that bag to his kids, man.
Yes, do
Please.
that.
Get that bag to his kids. If y'all gonna stream that music, get that bag to his children, man. For real, for real. Third album from X was And Then There Was X. It was like bro was telling a story with every album. Like,
Yes.
I saw an interview on YouTube the other day. Well, not an interview, but a live, I guess it was, with Swiss Beats talking about X and all the rest of that stuff. And he was talking about how he was suffering. Even when he was recording, he was suffering. And you kind of got that feel from the music that he used to put out. I mean, Dark as Hell is Hot, even though it had his, like, how's it going down and stuff like that. It had a lot of music.
Look Through
that
My
was
Eyes.
like, yeah.
Yes.
Painful. I could feel it. You go into the second album, you got Slippin'. You got,
Coming from.
yeah, and so on and so on. And then there was X, same old day, just a different day. Here we go again,
yeah.
and then other songs. You know
One
what I
more
mean?
road to cross.
One more road to cross.
Yeah.
You could tell in the music, but X was so good and versatile that he could give you some painful shit. He can give you a prayer, and then he can make you fucking jump out your seat and start partying.
Yes, I clearly remember being, at parties and people were like, "Oh, you gotta play that DMX tonight." Like, they was letting it be known. They didn't even their house. They sit on your couch like, "You gotta play some DMX," for sure.
X is probably one of the biggest influences, other than Jay-Z, and Lil Wayne, on a lot of artists, man. A lot of people. I think the only other person you could probably, would be what's his name, 50 Cent. Because 50 Cent's got a couple of people who definitely were influenced by him. You can tell in their music, Pop Smoke, etc. X definitely influenced a lot of rappers, or birthed a lot of rappers. And when I say birthed, I mean like made people want to rap. Me being one of them. You know what I mean? So X's music was just how can I say this, man? I mean, if you were going through shit, man, that's where you went to relate, was DMX. At least I think.
Now, let me say this. Did you know the original Murder Inc. was the super group of DMX, Jay-Z, and Ja Rule? But that is one of many rap albums that never seen the light of day. But we did get them on tracks, on multiple tracks before them, those three. But I mean, hey, they're all, from that era, as we know. But man, whew.
Nah, I mean, they got a couple of good tracks together. They never came out with the album, even though I think that the Murder Inc. album was a good album, the first one at least.
Absolutely.
But they did have X on the album at the end.
Yes, Tales from the Dark Side. If you know, you know.
One of that motherfucker. Man,
Yeah.
yes, man, on that,
Niggas
on
think
that.
it's all about rockin' Versace. Now they
Yeah.
like X got me.
That was something else that
And it's a track with a motherfucker.
that was another
Man.
thing. That was another thing that Swiss talked about as well. He says that the X really did not care for jewelry or designer or any of those things. And you can kind of tell he always had the same dog chain on, tank top, t-shirt. It really didn't change. You know what I mean? As he grew as an artist and got older and etc., he kept the same vibes pretty much.
Yes, and even his features, man, and this as well. He Diddy had turned him down, but then once he saw the buzz, he was coming with, Diddy was on some trying to backpedal, like, hey, I'll double up, whatever. But hey, man, he still appeared on that Lox album, Money, Power, Respect, on that title track to close off the track and everything, and his feature on 4321 and on Dragon's Niggas Die For Me, the Rough Rider compilation albums. Man,
Him and Dragon.
nigga, I still play Niggas Die For Me to this day. And what about that DXL Hard White?
Yeah.
Woo!
Man, we haven't even gotten to mention the Rough Rider albums, man. Shit.
Yes. And notice a lot of these tracks I just mentioned, like, they end the album, they close off the album.
Because he's a closer. You got people. Look, man. Back in the day. Let me tell you guys something.
He went last on a lot of records. Yeah.
In the
Posse
'90s,
cuts, yeah.
right? Because we're not about to keep on saying back in the day like niggas is 60 years old. But in the '90s, when you took When you took the last verse, you had to have the best verse. You know what I mean? It's only so many rappers that still live by that motherfucking rule. You know what I mean? But whoever was third, you had to come the hardest. Because back in that day, if you had Jay-Z going first, Jadakiss going second, Sheik going third, Mace going fourth, and then X is last, you gotta go hard. If you don't, you're gonna look stupid. You got some of the greatest lyricists on one song. Blackout. Let's just talk the song Blackout.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yeah, X finish off that track.
Come on, man.
Definitely, man. Oh, and what finished off the debut album is It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. Niggas done started something. I mean, before Pun, it was X with the surgery, with the chainsaw.
I would have thought that
X and Pun collab, man, we missed out.
I would have thought that song would have started the album though.
Right.
Niggas done started something. I would have thought, because when you remember, Flesh of My Flesh started with My Niggas, and that was kind of like up tempo like that, like niggas done started something. You know what I'm saying? I would have liked to see that song in the beginning of the album.
Yeah, but let's not
still a
forget
great song.
that intro, man. That It's Dark and Hell Is Hot intro. Remember that one though? 1 2 1 2, like. You let it be known the nigga DMX is a motherfucking problem, alright? Like, yo.
I remember listening to that intro. Bro, I must have played before I got to the whole tape, I must have played the intro probably like 20 times.
And salute, let's give the flowers to also the producer Dame Grease, man.
Dame Grease, Swiss
Yes.
Beats.
PK.
Dame Grease was doing his thing on that thing though. If
Yeah,
you don't
P
know
Killer
who
tracks,
you don't
yeah.
know who Dame Grease is. If you're familiar with Max B and French Montana, he also produced many of their records on their mixtape come ups and etc. DMX, responsible for a lot of your favorite rappers and groups and etc. Shit, Cassidy was talking about it the other day on one of these
Ciao, Cassidy.
blogs. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. If there was no X, there'd be no Swiss. There'd be no Cassidy. Okay.
Wow, that's
You know what I'm saying? Have you ever looked at it like that? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? There would have probably never been a We Are the Streets. Because without no X, there's no Swiss, there's no Wildin' Out. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the contribution that X brought to the game, the people that he brought with him. And that's the thing about being a boss that a lot of people don't understand, man. Let me tell you something right now. X was a boss. Why was he a boss? Because he put his people around him in position to win as well. Look at Swiss Beats. Look at what Swiss Beats is doing. Look at what Jada is doing. Look at what Styles is doing. Look at what Eve did. Look at what Sheik is doing, and et cetera, et cetera. All these people have a legacy, and all of those people, you know, got spotlight shined on them. Because let's keep it real, the Rough Rider albums wasn't really a X-filled album.
No. But they all, X definitely.
But X had so much power, star power, that you went to go buy the Rough Rider album looking for DMX, but you fucked around and bumped into a bunch of other dope ass artists. You know what I mean? But you really looking to hear what DMX is saying. Let's not cap. You know what I mean? And when
Absolutely.
You go into the Rough Rider album. You talking about an album that they put out after X has been on fire.
Yes. Like it was, and this is then remind you that's after probably a whole year after Rough Riders anthem dropped, because that was on his debut album. And man, memories of motherfuckers that have the boom boxes playing, X records, and you got it probably starts off with a cat walking dolo. Next thing you know, they following him like he Jesus, playing that that DMX out the speakers and anything. Man, really, this is real shit. The Great Depression album, the song he had, We Right Here, that record, man, when I first heard that one back, that was probably in high school at that time, I was like, man, this is very, it's going to be a great day. You hear this track, especially if it's like a Sunday, I mean a Saturday, even a Sunday as well, but like a weekend morning when you don't, you wake up, sun shining bright, and you're like, all right, bring it, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Man, they don't know who we be. Like, man, that energy, man. There'll never be another, bro. He definitely was that one of a kind, man.
Let's just jump into it real quick, just because I want to start a little trouble. But would Money Cash Hoes be Money Cash Hoes without DMX?
Hell no, man. To me, that always felt like a DMX record, bro.
Let's keep it real.
Come on, bro. See what you did there, Jay.
DMX and my dog's bite. Jigga, my nigga, rhyme all night. Come on, man. You weren't giving a fuck about what Jay. What did Jay say about that shit? What was part of Jay's verse on Money Cash Hoes? No disrespect to Jay.
I rap now. Fast money done slow it up.
Oh yeah, okay. So he does have something.
He was talking that shit on that second verse.
Nah, he was.
Remember, he got two verses.
He was talking on the second
verse.
But J verse, X verse was just.
I done seen people just be in a crappy mood, and then that X, verse come on. Now they saying all the words like, just man, that's a speaker knocker right there. Swiss murder.
I don't give a fuck what age you are. You know the Rough Riders anthem.
Whew.
I don't fuck if you were born in this generation. You know the fucking Rough Riders anthem. You know it. Because your mama was a thug and she was growing up playing this shit. I'm not talking about us. We're talking about yours, the viewers. If you got a rough fucking girlfriend, she probably listened to some fucking DMX when she was growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, who didn't listen to fucking DMX, Jay-Z, Cash Money? Like, come on, man.
Hey, if not, my hip hop head ass done put them on to it. But yeah.
No, you still swing. That's better than that shit. That shit is like. Let's talk about some of DMX's key songs. When we say key, we're not talking about the commercial shit. We talking about the gems. First, let's jump into It's Dark and Hell is Hot. To me, some of the key songs on that album, for me, things that I used to play over and over and over again. I Can Feel It. How's It Going Down? Because first of all, the How's It Going Down intro is hilarious.
Absolutely. If you know, you know.
Hilarious.
You fucking him.
I'm more of a fan of the original How's It Going Down track. I like the rawness, but Faith Evans was a good
that was
addition to it.
Remember, it was a video as well. It was a single, so I had to put a little shine to it. Look Through My Eyes. I mean, he really was spitting that pain on that track. I love that track. Love that beat. The way it starts off. Man, yo.
Which album was Let Me Fly on? Let Me Fly was
The first one. Yeah. That's a dope track as well. The sample was dope.
Either let me fly or give me that. Let my soul rest. Take my. If I don't fly, I'm up anyway. I'ma live on, but I'll be anywhere. That's a lot of man. X is that nigga, man. At least for me, I don't know. For a lot of people, really.
Man, remember
X is that nigga, man.
Oh man, ain't no way you're gonna stop my flow.
Ain't no way, y'all niggas just don't know.
Man, real mechanical, baby.
To show, oh no. And we were just talking about that. X wasn't really lyrical, but X knew how to make good music. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes being a good rapper don't mean that you have to be the best lyrical technician. You could just make good songs that people feel. There are so many layers to hip hop and music and rap and writing and etc. that just lyrical just does not just do it. You know what I mean? That's not the only thing that doesn't make a good song all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember that track on and then there was X album. Don't You Ever. That's definitely an underrated joint.
Oh yeah,
joint to
man.
me.
Don't you ever fuck around, nigga. Don't you ever fuck
that
around.
shit.
That's my shit.
Yeah.
Good Girls, Bad Guys. Then There Was X was my shit too. But I really fucked with One More Road to Cross and
Yes.
Here We Go Again. Here We Go Again was my shit, man.
Yes. That and I believe I had a copy of that album like before it officially dropped. Like I got to hear that before a lot of people was like, "Oh, DMX is coming with another one." I'm like, "Yeah." It's called And Then There Was X, and everybody like, "Oh, what the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah." Like,
I mean, when you on fire, you on fire. Back then, it wasn't really
CDs were getting leaked,
a good idea to keep on putting music out because people would get tired of you. Now it's the more content, the better. Back then, it was pretty much you drop twice. Once, maybe if you're that hot, 3 times a year, and that means like you could drop a single, you could drop 2 albums, nigga, and that's 3 times a year. You know what I mean? So it was different back then. It wasn't like how it is now. With the digital everything, people request more. For you to stay hot nowadays, you have to keep on putting out content as an artist or a creator. Back then, it was pretty much just you drop a good body of work and people are talking about you for a long time period. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I gotta mention the track "Get It on the Floor." I mean, that being played at parties back then, man.
Get it on the floor.
I remember.
Get it on the floor.
I was
on the floor. Get it on the floor.
No BS. I was that nigga that like the record at that time. That song had already been out for a little while. At this point, my homies done threw a little party and all that, but I made sure I got in the DJ ear. Whoever was on a booth, the 1s and 2s, like, you gotta play Get It on the Floor. Or I done told them to put the name on the flyer or whatever. Like, oh, call the party, Get It on the Floor, but play that record as well, because that shit is fucking fire. Like, that also, the Ayo Kato record, that's my shit, man.
If you guys look at the moving logo that we have for Billins World. We have some of the greatest albums and greatest artists ever on this logo. And if you look right underneath the NWA Straight Outta Compton album right next to Tupac, you'll see And Dark as Hell is Hot. And there's a reason why that album is on that logo with a bunch of other classic great albums, you know, no matter if it was East Coast, West Coast, down south, etc. You have to understand, being a good artist, your clothes, your chains, and your clout and all the rest of that shit don't make you a good artist. It makes you somebody that people want to be. You know what I mean? Now, your motherfucking work ethic and your artistry, that is what makes you a good artist. A lot of people know how to, like, one thing you gotta know how to perform. X knew how to perform.
Absolutely. I was blessed to see him perform multiple times. Excellent performer, and you know, I know everybody's seen that video. From
What
was that
other
Woodstock?
rapper did you know that rock Woodstock like that, bruh? Whew.
There'll never be another, man. For real, for real.
Come on, man. That Woodstock shit was
What y'all really want?
epic. So you got to be a good performer. X had that. You got to know how to make a hit. X got so many of those.
So many, man. You hear me have living these, man.
X got classic albums. He's got 3 to start it off with. How many people you know fail at their second?
Absolutely, man. For real, and that triple threat.
Shit, nowadays you be lucky if a motherfucker drop a good first album.
You ain't lying, man.
That motherfucker put out Dark as Hell is Hot, Flesh of My Flesh, and then dropped motherfucking, and then there was X, and they dropped the Rough Rider album. All classics, bro. Come on, what we talking about, man? What we talking about, man? So, DMX, very sad that his family has, has to go through this and etc. We send our condolences to the Rough Rider team, DMX and his family, his kids. We thank you for sharing him with us.
You are appreciated for that, for sure.
Yeah, thank you guys, and we send our condolences to you guys. We definitely lost a legend in hip hop. One of the biggest figures in hip hop, if you ask me. DMX was a different artist for many reasons. It wasn't just his music, you know what I mean? He wasn't the guy that wore the diamond studded jewelry like crazy and all the rest of that stuff. He didn't rock the designer and all the rest of that like that. He was pretty much what you saw is what you got.
Yes, that real raw. Man, can't stress it enough, man. One of a kind, there'll never be another.
Yeah.
DMX forever, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Billins World. Like, comment, subscribe, y'all.
I think he's gone platinum how many times?
Let me know your favorite X track in the comments.
Yeah, tell us your favorite X track, favorite
All
X
that.
album, everything. Your most memorable moment. What happened? Where were you when you first heard DMX? What were you doing? No matter what era, what were you doing when you first heard DMX? We talked about X in movies. We talked about X. X had another great, and I don't ever think I ever seen any other rapper really do it like that, probably other than Ja Rule on Vidi Vidi Vici. But
Shout out Ja Rule.
Shout out Ja, yeah. The prayer segments.
Yes.
And
God Almighty.
And he's got them on every album. Some of the deepest shit that you ever heard that wasn't on beat. Now let's talk about the other thing that came along with these prayers usually. X would do a prayer and then he would drop a song where he was basically talking to almost like the devil. I believe the song was called The Omen. Wasn't it?
Well,
What's
he
the name of the
had.
song? Omen, was it?
Remember
He had the one with Marilyn Manson.
that was called Omen.
Uh-huh.
Damien Omen 2 or something.
Yeah, Damien and Omen. That's what it was. Damien and Omen 1 and 2 on his first 2 albums, and then when he did it on the other album, I think he just had a song come after that. I think it was
But that was on Great Depression album, I believe.
Yeah,
like he didn't do it on, and then there
no,
was
he
X.
didn't do it on. Then it was X.
So
But yeah, the Omen songs, which I think pretty much some of the most creative shit in the world, because it's literally what your brain is doing when you're thinking about doing unrighteous things, right? You're talking
that's some deep shit right
talking to a demon. You're tapping into a demon. You know what I mean?
there. Oh, sorry.
Even though X, you know what I'm saying, the what's the name of the song was you know what I mean, like he's chatting with the devil, but the way I took it, and probably a lot of other people took it that way too, is you chatting with the evils of yourself, right? But
Right.
in the song, X basically goes back and forth with the devil, and tells him he wants to stop living a certain way. Yet the Omen basically is like basically he gives him everything that he wants, and X regrets it at the end. That's basically what it was. Like X arguing with like X wanted the fame and all the rest of that stuff, and then when he got it, it was like the devil used it against him and held it against him.
The snake, the rat, the cat,
At
the dog.
yeah. One of the greatest songs I've ever heard. Both Damien Omen 1 and 2. Oh, that's it.